Horror movies have a unique ability to tap into our deepest fears, but when they are inspired by true and terrifying events, the horror becomes all too real. Knowing that someone went through that terrifying thing is something that makes it hard to put one to sleep easily. Over the years, filmmakers have drawn inspiration from actual occurrences that send shivers down our spines. In this video, we delve into 5 horror movies that are based on true and chilling events, so make sure to like our video and subscribe to our channel. Let's start the video. Number 5. The Rite. Anthony Hopkins starred in the 2011 movie The Rite, which is about the son of a funeral director who is having a crisis of faith. He is told to take an exorcism course in Italy to strengthen his Christian beliefs, and he sees exorcisms happen. He is skeptical at first, but his doubts are put to rest when one of his teachers gets possessed, forcing him to do an exorcism himself. This scary idea is made even scarier by the fact that it comes from Matt Baglio's book, The Rite, The Making of a Modern-Day Exorcist. In Baglio's book, the adventures of Father Gary Thomas, a trainee exorcist in Rome, are said to be based on real events. Initially doubtful, Father Thomas's skepticism transforms into a stark acknowledgement of evil as he witnesses actual demonic possessions. During his apprenticeship, Father Thomas, under the guidance of Father Carmen, participates in a multitude of demonic battles. In one memorable story, a woman named Lisa's violent outbursts and deranged behavior scared her family. Father Thomas recalls feeling a palpable presence in the room as Lisa's face contorted. Her speech turned incomprehensible, and she exhibited bizarre behavior. Even though Father Thomas had never seen a demon-possessed person spitting out metal nails, he had heard of one that happened to another priest. Actively advising on The Rite, Father Thomas said that even though some parts of the movie were dramatized, the exorcisms that were shown were incredibly true to what he saw and took part in real life. Number 4. Psycho. Many are familiar with the notorious Ed Gein, also known as the Butcher of Plainfield. If you haven't heard of him, it's worth noting that several movies, most notably Psycho, draw inspiration from his gruesome story. The unsettling tale began in Plainfield, Wisconsin, where suspicions lingered for years among neighbors in the tight-knit community regarding Ed's peculiar behavior. Kids would dare each other to approach his Eerie farmhouse, and he earned the label of the village oddball. Despite this, he was perceived as harmless until people, including the deputy sheriff's mother, disappeared. Ed Gein became the prime suspect, leading to a search of his farm. What the police found was truly horrifying. 4 noses, 9 masks made from human skin, heads that had been cut off, lampshades made from skin, bowls made from skin and skulls, lips that had been used as blinds pull cords, pants made from skin, and even a belt made from nipples. Gein was apprehended and subsequently entered a confession regarding 2 homicides, one of which involved the deputy's mother, whose severed body was discovered in his shed. Upon further investigation of his filthy home, with rubbish strewn throughout, police uncovered a few boarded-up areas, one of which was his deceased mother's room. Despite the overall squalor, this room remained eerily pristine, untouched since his mother's passing. Alfred Hitchcock drew inspiration from Robert Bloch's disturbing novel, who lived within 35 miles of Gein's farm and was aware of the gruesome events. The details, such as Gein wearing clothing made from women's skin to feel closer to his dead mother, inspired the character of Norman Bates in Hitchcock's iconic film, Psycho. Number 3. The Shining. In 1983, renowned horror author Stephen King stayed at the Stanley Hotel in Colorado, an experience that became the inspiration for his iconic novel, The Shining. King, accompanied by his wife, occupied room 217, the only guests in the vast Eerie hotel. As he explored the empty halls, King reported encountering ghostly children and witnessing a spectral party in the ballroom, experiences that fueled his sense of isolation and inspired the chilling narrative of The Shining. The hotel, established in 1909 by Flora and Freeland Oscar Stanley, remains a secluded mountain resort with a haunted reputation. The paranormal history of the Stanley Hotel includes reports of Mr. Stanley appearing behind the reception desk and Miss Stanley playing the piano in the music room. Room 217 gained notoriety after a housekeeper's electrocution during a lightning storm, leading to persistent paranormal incidents. From objects moving on their own to lights flickering, the entire hotel is believed to harbor strange occurrences. The fourth floor echoes with unseen children's laughter, and workers and guests can hear parties going on in the hall. The hotel, considered one of America's most haunted places, was featured in a 2006 Ghost Hunters episode. Despite the Stanley Hotel not being the filming location for The Shining, it stands as a testament to the lasting impact of King's stay and the eerie inspiration that permeates its halls. Number 2. The Hills Have Eyes. In 1977, Wes Craven released a film titled The Hills Have Eyes, which achieved success at the box office and later gained cult classic status. This horror movie, inspiring a 2006 remake and 2 sequels, recounts the harrowing tale of a family on a road trip who gets lost in an atomic testing zone and finds that it is inhabited by a deformed and cannibalistic family who wants to eat them. The film's seemingly far-fetched plot is rooted in the historical account of Alexander Sonny Bean and his family. Born near Edinburgh, Alexander became the head of a Scottish clan during the 16th and 17th centuries. Living in a cave with his family, including numerous children and grandchildren born of incest, they remained isolated from the outside world. Over 25 years, they preyed on unsuspecting travelers, ambushing, robbing, murdering, and later consuming them. Over 25 years, they attacked, robbed, killed, and then ate travelers who didn't know what was going on. Reports say that bodies from nearby cemeteries were also dug up and consumed. The family's gruesome acts continued until the husband of one victim escaped, alerting the authorities. King James led an army to their hidden cave during high tide, uncovering the horrific aftermath of decades of filth and cannibalism. The family members had the same horrible fate as the victims. The men had their manhood cut off and were burned, and the women and children had limbs cut off and were left to bleed before they were burned. While some dispute the family's existence, due to a lack of concrete documents, many records and publications show they did. The movie The Hills Have Eyes mirrors this horrifying history, depicting mutant monsters resulting from extensive inbreeding. Number 1. The Silence of the Lambs. Released in 1991, The Silence of the Lambs became a huge hit in theaters, winning many awards and becoming a classic in the horror genre. The narrative revolves around an FBI trainee tasked with interviewing Hannibal Lecter, a cannibalistic serial killer and former psychiatrist, to aid in the pursuit of another serial killer who gruesomely skins his victims. Remarkably, the film's 3 primary characters draw inspiration from real individuals, 2 of whom were perpetrators of notorious crimes. Thomas Harris got ideas for the book that was used as a basis for the movie from the FBI's new behavioral science unit. This team, which looked at using psychological profiles to find killers, is where Harris met Pat Kirby. 3 years later, Kirby was the first woman to join the unit. She gave Harris the idea for Clarice Starling, the female analyst in The Silence of the Lambs. Harris got ideas for Hannibal Lecter from the scary history of Ted Bundy, a serial killer, cruel rapist, and necrophile who killed at least 36 people in the 1970s. Lastly, the film required a psychopathic antagonist, leading Harris to create Buffalo Bill, a fictional character reminiscent of Ed Gein. Gein was known for making things from the skin of dead women, such as socks and a vest from a woman's torso, and served as the macabre muse for Buffalo Bill's horrifying acts in the film. Thus, The Silence of the Lambs artfully weaves together inspiration from real-life figures to create a cinematic masterpiece that continues to haunt audiences to this day. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it entertaining. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate the notification bell for more valuable content like this. Thanks for watching.